As you likely know, most racing games have a setting that lets you shift gears manually. Some of them will also let you use the clutch manually. But why bother with a clutch? Because you shift faster. They make the auto clutch on the regular manual setting slower on purpose to reward those who use the clutch manually. But this doesn't make sense. Aside from launching, there's no reason to press the clutch partially. You always want it either fully pressed down or not pressed at all. Anything in between is pointless. So to make the clutch engage faster, players will simply bind it to a button as opposed to a pedal or an analog stick. But what is the skill in that? In clutchless manual, you press one button to shift. In manual with clutch, you press two buttons at the same time to shift. You're essentially cutting down on shift time without putting in any extra effort. Well, that's just how racing games are, including the most popular one right now. Now Wreckfest tried to crack down on this. In an update, they added a clutch release delay for players who map the clutch to a digital button. You can see there's a slight lag between shifts. Now using a digital clutch is still faster than the clutchless manual, but it's not instant like it used to be. They wanted you to use the right analog stick as a clutch, which is not only slower than a normal button, but requires you to learn a weird layout that you'll never use in any other racing game. But hey, you get rewarded for it, right? You get instant shifts now. Well yeah, but that's not how it ended up playing out. First of all, you can use external programs to map a normal digital button to an analog axis. This way, the game thinks you're using a clutch pedal, when in reality, you're pressing a button that simulates a full clutch press. You're pressing buttons, just like we did before the update, and getting instant shift times once again. And if you think this is cheating, this isn't the only way. Many peripherals come with drivers that let you adjust the analog curve. In some cases, you can do it within the game, like Wreckfest. As an example, we can set an outside dead zone of 90% on the clutch. This means that by physically pressing the clutch pedal only 10% down, so basically nudging it, you get 100% input in the game, practically turning your clutch into a button and giving you instant shift times once again. And you might have to buy a pedal set if you don't want to use the right analog stick, but this is totally legit. And that's the clutch problem no racing game has ever managed to solve. So in practice, you're always driving a car with a clutchless sequential gearbox. Of course you can use the clutch pedal normally and still be fast, but you'll be at a competitive disadvantage. Competitive. A word that you never really see in Wreckfest. A few more notes, some games only make the clutch accessible if you're also using an edge shifter. This doesn't change the clutch behavior, it's still a button, and you can map the gears to anything you want. You just need a few extra buttons. Or you can ask AI to write you an auto-hotkey script that presses keys in a sequence. And finally, this video doesn't discuss power shifting. It is related, but it's another topic.